Now, a little trick when you're working on the airplane and you need the power on and the fuel selectors off, one thing you may want to do is this starter control circuit breaker. You pull that out. When you have both selectors off, now with the circuit breaker pulled, you won't get any horns at all. Just remember when you're finished for the night to push it back in. Okay. The next check we're going to do is to check all the internal lights. They're all labeled with this 2-in-1 rheostat. We turn everything all the way up, the inner knob and the outer knob on all four, and then you'll be able to check all your lights. Sometimes the rheostats go bad and they're real difficult to change. The first thing I would do before changing the rheostat is behind the circuit breaker panel there's phenolic fireproof board, and take that out as well. That's located behind the circuit breaker panel, and then behind that there's going to be another panel full of transistors. There's going to be 3 heat sinks, and on those heat sinks there'll be a combination of several transistors. You'll have to look at the book to see which one corresponds to the fault that you have, and swap transistors for troubleshooting. If you do have to change one of these rheostats, that's what you're going to want to do is locate, there's a little hole, the pointing part of my piece of paper. You want to locate that and then rotate the inner part until you locate another hole that corresponds with the inner part that will line up with your exterior hole, and then move both of them together until you find the little set screw. The set screw is very, very small. You're probably going to have to special order it through someone like Snap-on. Okay, right to the right side of the left hand vent is going to be your switches to control your lights. You're going to want to check them next. Down here where it says cabin, in the up position, and that's it activates a 30-minute timer. Your cabin lights are going to light up. Check to make sure that none of them are burned out. And it's a 3-way switch. In other words, there's also one more switch back in the cargo door on the inside from either end. And then to turn it off, you just push it down or wait till the timer runs out of 30 minutes. One bad design flaw that they made on the Caravan with these fuel selectors is it's always the tanks seem to leak from the high side to the low side, depending how level the ramp is. The best thing to do is always keep one in the off position, or preferably keep both of them. Okay, so that I need to pull the starter control circuit breaker and remember to turn it back on again. Here's one horn. Okay. When we engage the starter, you'll hear a second horn. See right there, you don't get any sound at all. On the belly of the airplane there's a reservoir, there's a little hopper tank. It is designed with some flapper valves, designed with gravity, because with the gravity makes them hang open, so they really don't do a whole bunch of good. So the pilots can't take off and use their autopilot if with more than 150 pounds fuel in bounce from side to side. And so if it's too much, you're going to have to transfer fuel or add more fuel to the low side. And so it's very important anytime the airplane is not in use or undergoing maintenance to try to keep both valves closed, or at least just one side or the other. Okay, for oxygen, her lever is overhead between the two seats. When we move the selector forward, it's going to be off. When we return it, you're going to hear a little whistle of air. Another thing to keep in mind is that the rigging on this is very difficult to get. Sometimes it won't take the full throw. This one here is adjusted really well. Okay, it activates near the end of its throw of the slot there, and you bring it back and it turns off near the end of it. Okay, on the oxygen mask, they're stored on the doors. So all you do is just pull them out. Very simple. And first thing you're going to want to do is get a packet of respirator cleaning wipe and just wipe the inside of this really good. Also check the lens, make sure that there's no scratches, that it's still clear and usable. You press in on your red tabs here, and it expands. You put it on. And you breathe normally to make sure that it works fine. And then on the very back here, it says push to test. And so you can hear a continuous flow. Or you can turn this knob so it's on constantly. If you want 100% oxygen, you need to test this also. Just push it down. Microphone inside of here. So you want to get on the company frequency and test the microphone. You can either talk like this, or you can talk with the mask all the way on. I always find it's easier to talk out like this, that way my jaw doesn't feel like it's in a vice grip. And then re-clean it, stow it away, and that's it.